Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is now the time for semifinals of Little Squid League 43. So many teams entered, but only 4 teams are left standing fighting for the crown. I am Pat here with Rocket. Rocket, are you ready to rock the stage and watch these awesome teams?
I am more than ready, Pat. We are in for a wonderful match here. We are looking at Sea Dragons versus Pretty and Ink. And if you want a little background on the teams here, Sea Dragons are the champions of Luddy Div 10, so
Hmm.
they are pretty stacked here, and they have some previous achievements to be proud of. But on the other side, Pretty and Ink are no team to be taken lightly either, as they've had a pretty good tournament run so far in Little Squid League number 43.
Yeah, one thing that these two teams have in common is that they've only dropped a single game so far between the groups and the start of this bracket. These two teams each have dropped one game, and that's it. They've been absolutely shredding, and I can't wait to see these two big teams meet each other. And that's what you see at the end of the LSL is teams that are incredibly hot with a lot of momentum running into each other, and that running is always a pleasure to watch. Pretty Ink bringing the Tetras and a Decapitator on the side of Sea Dragons. That's a Hydra and a Range Blaster. Two very different ways to play the game. One wants to run in, and the other one wants to stand in position.
Yeah, and as a reminder to everybody, we are in best of 5 now, so it is first to 3 will take this set. But as we look at the early action, Sea Dragons off to an early wonderful start here, managing to already take down 3 members of Pretty Ink. Already set up in a great position, as well as this Neo Splash has the triple Ink Strike to further delay, and they will go out as well, continuing to add to Sea Dragon's score. And I want to mention, you mentioned it at the beginning, that these comps are very diverse, as we see a great Zuka shot that actually manages to take out 2 members of Sea Dragons, and a third falls behind, and Pretty and Ink are able to retake the zone. But what I was saying is, you mentioned the difference in play styles, and it's really interesting to see the Tetra release here.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the white Tetra release is not a weapon we see so much, but I've heard from competitive players of all levels that Tetras are coming back, that Julies overall are getting better and better at the game as we understand more and more how good they can be again. And yeah, watch out for the Julies, they are coming back. As I say that, the Sea Dragons are trying to come back onto the zone, the strikes are not enough to paint it, and Pretty Ink is holding the zone incredibly strong. They've been holding it since their retake, and right now Sea Dragons are struggling to get in. They're painting as much as they can. They haven't applied penalty yet, and we're still in that tense fight. The Hydra goes down. It's just Saturn. Saturn's cannot paint with a range blaster. Pretty Ink holds the zone.
Yeah, but as we see, a brilliant shot from them. However, not much paint to be had onto the zone, and Pretty and Ink looks to be taking this map if the Hydra can't get onto the zone, and unfortunately, they will be taken down by the edit, which means Pretty and Ink, although they didn't get the first cap, strike back with a vengeance in a straight knockout, taking game 1.
Yeah, very, very nice hold by Pretty and Ink. And that's the deal with Sea Dragons. Their comp is very good to win the opening fight because you have more range, because you're expecting your opponent to run at you. The specials are not there yet. But Pretty and Ink, once they are in control, the Sea Dragons comp, it's very slow. And going in onto the zone is going to be very rough unless you get a full wipe, and Pretty Ink managed to simply keep themselves in the fight, which allowed them to take game number 1. But Rocket, you said earlier, we're in best of 5. We will see more games, and more importantly than that, we are in counterpick, which means Sea Dragons get to choose the next map and the next mode.
Yeah, and having that ability is so key because you're just able to work with the map modes that you are more specifically comfortable with, you're more practiced with. So obviously losing hurts, but obviously the trade-off of that is you can come back with a vengeance, and that is something that Sea Dragons are now discussing most likely with their team, what would work with their comp. And taking a look and just remembering at the comps that they ran, Sea Dragons had that blaster, they had that Hydra. They seem to have a comp that's more oriented on once you have the zone, just never look back, just hold on to it at all times. But unfortunately, they were pushed out fairly quickly, and we saw that they were just unable to get in due to the limiting paint ability of the
Mhm.
range blaster.
Yeah, and in all other modes, you have to run into your opponent. You have to run at them, which is the thing Sea Dragons is good at stopping. So I feel like any mode that isn't Splat Zones will be good for them. And especially if it's Tower Control, that Range Blaster was doing the works, was fighting incredibly well. I feel like Tower Control has to be their strong mode, but we'll see what they decide to do, where they decide to go. It's all on them right there.
Yeah, 100%. Just if I were to think, like you mentioned, Tower Control is a good map for that, but I'm also thinking of maybe other just specific maps in general to specifically allow the range blaster to really take advantage of things. Probably thinking like, I don't know, like a map like Mako Mart specifically, where you can or you're able to camp those ledges and just deter any enemies from even approaching the tower. So I think maybe Mako Mart Tower Control could be an interesting pick here, but there's a
Mm.
lot of choices, and I'm sure they can't go wrong.
Yeah, lots of choices that can be made. It's all on the Sea Dragon, and they are taking their sweet time to choose their counter pick so far. We're still waiting on it, and yeah, they honestly take the time to discuss. If you reach semifinals of LSL, you have the right to take your time and think as much as you can. How do we beat these Pretty Ink team?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if they're taking this time, they might be switching up their comps a little bit as well. That is
Mhm.
definitely not out of the picture at all.
Yeah.
However, they may just be discussing just maybe just looking at the other side, looking at what Pretty in Ink ran with the Tetras and
Mhm.
all of their other weapons, just seeing what could they possibly counterpick.
Yeah, lots of questions. And I feel like Pretty Ink would like to go to a Rainmaker because they liked going fast. They wanted to go fast. They were taking every fight. So if the mode is a bit speedy, that I feel like Pretty in Ink would like that. Again, that combo that they had between the Tetras and the Decavitator was working so well together, was doing so much in terms of they were constantly going for every fight that they could, and it was working for them. They were winning most of these fights, which really paid off for Pretty Ink.
Yeah, and just looking at a little bit of Priyan Inks on
Hmm.
at least Sendu, I'm noticing one of their members, Zucchini, actually has a badge for winning first in Table Turf Battle Open, which is a little bit, which is really funny to see because
Oh,
just like a fun fact about them, but their ability to have that is just hilarious to me, and also being able to compete at a high level here. But we actually see the map pick coming in now, and it is tower control. However, it's going to be on Shipshape Cargo.
that's a great choice because they have the Hydra, and Pretty Ink hasn't shown any range to contest that Hydra splatling on Shipshape Cargo Co. That Hydra can simply stand on top of the tower and nobody can approach it. That is a very nice option. Sea Dragons, all they need to do is hold that control over mid for long enough, and they have the tools to do it. Now they know that Pretty Ink they will run at them. These Tetras, these Decapitators, they will go for the fight. We'll see if the Sea Dragons are able to stop these fights before they can happen. It's all going to be decided by them. But honestly, that's a pretty nice counter pick on the side of Sea Dragons.
Yeah, and kind of like what you mentioned, Pat, if Sea Dragons are to counter those more rushing weapons such as the Decavitator, they need to be able to group together and maybe take these more advantageous fights, being able to take 2-on-1s or ones where the Decav is in a bad spot. But I think that would be the key in deciding how this match turns out, as Shipshape Cargo has been notorious for being very snowbally, especially near the second checkpoint.
Yeah, it can be a rough one. Lots of things can happen. And one thing to note, Rocket, is that checkpoint, that first checkpoint on the Shipshape Cargo Co. is the longest checkpoint in the game. I think it's like 15 seconds, but it feels like an eternity in Splatoon time. You have to hold that checkpoint for so long. It will be rough. We'll see what brings. And the same comp seems to come on one side. And ooh, Sea Dragon's ditching the Hydra. going for less range. They're trying to match the speed that Pretty Ink is giving.
Yeah, and noticeably as well, Mr. Saturn switching from the Range Blaster to the S-Splash, which I think is a good choice here, considering the special usage, the Booyah Bomb, the ability to kind of act in the similar way as the Triple Ink Strike, GG Strikes, if you will, just being able to deny any presence on the tower whatsoever. But as we see here, the edit is able to get their cooler up for Pretty and Ink, and they're able to group up on the side, managing to find 2 members of Sea Dragons, and this is already a great initial start for Pretty and Ink, as we see the edit is trying to hunt for that player we just saw, however, not quite being able to find much. However, no one has really made much progress on the tower.
Yeah, both teams really struggling to keep that control over mid. The Sea Dragon throwing the Booyah Bomb simply to stop. There will be no checkpoint yet. And ooh, what a direct by the S-Blast there. That is still control for the Sea Dragons, who are letting the tower come back. But again, they need to get full control over mid if they want a shot at that checkpoint.
Yeah, and now Sea Dragon's turn. Ooh, another crit the S-Blast. We are seeing it do so much damage, almost managing to cancel out that cooler. However, the decap on the other side, Pretty and Ink manages to find 3 in the chaos. And now Sea Dragons are just left with the Gal here, who manages to find the trade to avenge their teammates. However, they will be forced to fall back. The Tetra Dualies, unfortunately, not being able to find much value on that initial push. The shot going down as well to this Gal. And this Gal is causing so much damage here. Just it's gone back and forth between individual heroic plays from both of these teams.
It is not stopping. The fight for mid goes on as Zippy with the Decapitator is defending, and it looks like Pretty and Ink is going to bring the tower to the checkpoint again, this time with a big bubbler. Pretty and Ink is looking like they're going to get checkpoint 1. The strikes come in with 1 second left on the checkpoint. Pretty and Ink needs to step on the tower. They need to step on the tower right now, and it's just a heavy edit. It's not going to be enough. The checkpoint has fallen. Pretty and Ink is going through the court onto checkpoint number 2.
Yeah, and you mentioned that is a really hard checkpoint to take because you have to wait there so long. But now that they have it, Pretty and Ink are in a wonderful spot, including the lead. However, Sea Dragons are not out of this quite yet. They are fighting with a vengeance here, as the Gal has already pushed up so far into Pretty and Ink's side of the map that they are just creating so much space for their team to operate behind them, just giving them so much time to work with, managing to find a pick onto the Tetra Dualies, but will fall themselves. And Sea Dragons, unfortunately, are losing some steam on their push. They do go 3 players down, and it is just left to the edit to run for the hills to fight another day.
That's pretty rough for the Sea Dragons. Right now they have 2 minutes left to get a lead, and ooh, what a lunge by the Decapitator. Getting the Splat, and that's another push by Pretty and Ink. There's nobody to defend on the side of the Dragons. 3 down is just the Gal, and all of Pretty and Ink are moving forward, getting back to that second and final checkpoint again with another bubbler.
Yeah, that bubbler is going to be key, and it pops as well. The cooler there as well. However, with 2 players down, the coolers will be able to at least get the spawns. However, Pretty and Ink are back with a quick wipeout that will just straight up end the game right then and there. Now up 2-0. Sea Dragons need to go back to the drawing board and see if they can find a map mode that works for them, because if they drop one more game, they are out of here in a sweep.
Yeah, Rocket, the fight for mid was pretty even, but the Sea Dragons never managed to win that fight really much, whereas Pretty and Ink got several pushes, and these pushes did the numbers. They did the job. They got them the KO. Sea Dragons, right now, they need to stop the bleeding. They need to go to any map mode where they feel comfortable and where they can play their best, because I feel like they're able to get these fights. They're able to get some momentum, but every time they make that one extra mistake, that goes against them. Now they need to reset their mindset. They need to go back into what they know how to do, because it feels like if they just lock on for one game, they could take on this Pretty Ink team.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, Pat. They should focus on taking things one step ahead. Don't think of this as you have to win 3 straight games. No, that's not where you start with this, because it's just going to be too much for your game mental to think. Focus on winning one game. Take things one step at a time. And like I mentioned before, Sea Dragons are the victors of Luddy Division 10, so they've been in high pressure competitions before. They know what it's like to win, and they know how to how to fight back in these tournaments. So I highly
Mhm.
doubt that this will be at least a smooth at least a smooth game 3 that we will see. But
Mhm.
yeah, we definitely saw a little bit more fight from the Sea Dragons, but like you mentioned, just unfortunately unable to stop the unrelenting momentum of Pretty and Ink.
Yeah, they are getting there. They're learning how to fight pretty in ink. They're learning what they can do against that team. And honestly, you're not used to fight a Tetris Decapitator duo. That's not what you're used to fight. Usually, you're used to go against anything else. But that's a weird duo, incredibly fast, incredibly aggressive, and you have to learn to respect their range, respect their like they can attack you from very much farther than it seems. You have to be ready for that. Once and Sea Dragons, they are learning, they are getting better and better at fighting Pretty Ink. It's just a matter of learning fast enough, on adapting fast enough. If they do so, they could win that game on their next counter pick. But they need to bring everything they have in order to revert the momentum, because so far Pretty Ink, I mean, they have a lot of momentum. They are doing incredibly, incredibly well.
Yeah, but it's not all bad from Sea Dragons at all. I did see some bright spots in their game there. The Gal and
Mhm.
the S Blast were key players for Sea Dragons. They were just able to get these multi kills and really put themselves in better positions to push off of that. So I'm wondering if that's something that they should focus on, especially as well. Another thing, they need to be able to shut down the decaf who we saw was able to
Mhm.
basically shut down not one but two entire sets of Sea Dragon pushes. Just
Oh yeah.
single-handedly because they were able to utilize the range of the decaf and, like you mentioned, the unexpected range sometimes of how far it can travel.
Yeah. And now the Sea Dragons have chosen the next map to fight on. This is their last counter pick of these semifinals. Clam Blitz onto Scorch Gorge. That's a good choice from them, because Pretty in Ink, they're hot-headed. They want to run in, they want to have fights. Sea Dragons, if they're able to find the coordination, if they're able to manage the clan economy instead of simply trying to manage the fights, they could get the edge there. I expect Pretty in Ink to keep going in, keep trying to get the fights, while Sea Dragons try to collect more clams and win on that aspect. So Pretty in Ink, I like they need to make a big push. If they're able to get a big push, they win. But Sea Dragons, if they're able to play the clams better, stay coordinated despite the decapitator running at them, they have a good opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. And if Pretty and Ink does run a decavitator, which they will here, I think their initiation of the push will be obviously not only the decav being able to get a pick or two and create that presence, but also Keely the bubble just to create even more space to shut down. But we're seeing, I think, a similar comp coming from Sea Dragons. I believe, however, the regular splash is new on the other side. That crab is just going to be so vital for them in that defense. So it's going to be remain to be seen who really comes out in this first initial mid fight. However, it does look like Sea Dragons does get up the initial pick and claim advantage.
Yep, right now Pretty in Ink activating the Tacticular, taking control of the top mid, and with Bazooka finding a double, almost finding a triple right there. That's a huge one. They have to step away to collect a few clams, though the Super Clam is not ready, but Blue with the heavy edit is holding the basket area, and now that's already a huge push by Pretty in Ink. They're not wasting a second here.
Yeah, as soon as Pretty and Ink saw an opportunity, they struck, and they really struck for the knockout punch. And they're already at the 39-point mark. It remains to be seen, though, if any clams will be coming in to follow up on it. However, no clams will be had to just continue the opening of it. So the bleeding does stop, at least for Sea Dragons, a little bit, but they are already down significantly. So they need to find their own quick opportunity to strike here. And this is and the cooler for Sea Dragons is probably a good place to start with it. However, they do go 2 players down, so they need to play a little bit more defensively at the moment in prevention to just being straight up knocked out here.
Yep, it's It's working pretty rough right now. The Sea Dragons have a huge lead to combat from, but at least they have control over the basket. They have a tactical activated. It's a matter of finding the Splat. That's exactly what they do. Already 2 down onto Pretty Ink. Sea Dragons able to move forward, able to get on forward and get more Splats. They get in. The ball is not going to help you in order to defend. Sea Dragon still trying to go forward. They're gonna grab that PD Clam, I guess. Oh, or not. Not ready to get the push yet, but yep, we grab the PD Clam with super jump in. Let's see how it's going in the attack. There's more coming, but the Stuka needs to be dodged.
Oh my goodness, but the Zuka from Pretty in Ink and the decaf just shut that push right down, and now an opportunity arises for Pretty in Ink. The cooler goes out, the decaf is farming their special, just waiting for an opportunity. Unfortunately, it will go down. However, the pop is still to be had. However, a wipeout now for Pretty in Ink. They are completely off of this, and no more push to be had. Unfortunately, nothing in terms of the score to be reduced. Only the penalty points were affected. Now it is just back to Sea Dragons on this aggressive. See if they can get their first score of this off of this Booyah bomb.
Yeah, with that Booyah bomb, it looks like the basket is going to be open. The Sea Dragons have a lot of clams, but they already pummeled 2 super clams in. They need 1 more plus a single more clam. Okay, they're out of clams, so they will have to give some ground to Pretty Ink right now. The fight is still going. Valencia is going to get picked, and that's Pretty Ink establishing their defense, getting some momentum back. Again, 1.5 minutes left. The Sea Dragons, I mean, they scored some points. If they get the same push again, they could get the lead.
Yeah, but the Clam economy looks very much in Pretty in Ink's favor. Look at this, 3 balls already formed for the side of Pretty in Ink. However, that's not going to help you too much if your team gets wiped off, as 3 members went down there for Pretty in Ink, and is just left to the Zuka here, who jumped out of this. I believe this is the, yes, this is the shot. The Zuka just trying to find a pick to stop Sea Dragons advancing a little bit, as they're able to at least hold on to one of those 2 balls. However, it is still pretty contested in this midpoint. 3 players of Sea Dragons are down now, and with 55 seconds left, this could be the killing blow if this decaf can lead the way for their team.
That's a big bubbler under the basket, which is reopened. More clams coming, more points for Pretty Ink. They are down to 24 now, and they have enough clams to get the victory. Blue just getting under there, getting the clams in 3-2. More clams is all that's needed. But there's only Jay left under there. They can keep the basket open, and that's going to be game number 3 for Pretty in Ink.
Sweeping the semifinals series right there. That was very close at the very end. Unfortunately, that last 1v1 decided things. Jay coming out on top and winning this game for Pretty in Ink, and just a dominating show from Pretty in Ink, as I believe that was just 3 straight knockouts for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Sea Dragons, they put up a hell of a fight. They gave everything they had, but Pretty in Ink just on a different level. They're really able to show how good they are. They all still now, they only lost a single game in this LSL. They are incredibly strong going into the finals. Congratulations to them. We'll probably wait for the other side of the bracket to see who they will have to face. Yeah, the other 2 teams on the other side, they are 2-2. They are fighting till the bitter end. We'll see how they can do. Whew, Rocket, that was Pretty in Ink absolutely speed running this LSL.
Yeah, and they're pretty big underdogs as well. They are the 21st seed who just took down the 4th seeded Sea Dragons, and despite their what their seeding may say, they seem like powerhouses in this tournament. So being able to make it to grand finals is just impressive in its own right. But like you mentioned, Pat, we will wait for that game 5 between Excalibur and Fruit Gummies in the others bottom semifinals. But while we wait for that, we will take a momentary quick break, and we will be right back for grand finals in LSL number 43.